Hello and welcome to An Evening with Comrades. Tonight I am joined by Theo.
Hello.
I'm also joined by Senna. Welcome back, Senna.
Hello.
Joining us as well is Dipdap.
Listen, these things happen.
Joining us again is, I hope I'm saying this right, Konigsmark.
Yes, and happy birthday to the Dolphins.
You should probably
Speaking-
also update. You should probably also update Senna's picture at some point.
Ah, yes.
Oh yeah, I did actually change my profile picture on Twitter.
And joining
The
us,
horse pussy is no more. Can we have a moment of silence?
joining
Just
us,
kidding.
as always, is Posidus Pac-Man. Welcome, Pac-Man.
Now, I'm not saying the solution to the IO caucus is seizing the means of fission, but
I am.
I believe there is something to be said for it.
So yes, the first first cab off the rank is that, in a massive display of electoral fraud and the racket that is the Democratic Party's primary process, Bernie,
Or
Voting
at
is a
the
rat tat.
voting,
yeah,
or at
Bernie,
the electoral politics.
Bernie has won the Iowa caucus somehow. Dip-dap, could you give us your
Have they
take on
have they
this?
released the actual results yet?
All right, my take is all electoral politics are a farce. Fuck Pete Buttigieg. Fuck the Democratic Party. I don't give a shit who wins. Doesn't matter. We're gonna be a fucking genocidal imperialist state no matter what, whether you get Bernie or fucking Mayo cheat.
You know, I just want to say that at this point the BBC has given up and has said who are the winners and just said Sanders and Buttigieg. They're just given up.
Yeah,
Who are the losers?
Biden.
Everyone of us.
Society.
Biden.
Okay, fellas. I saw something. Biden might have gone missing.
What?
No, you're
What?
kidding. What?
Joe Biden might have gone missing.
I think they took him behind the house, and
Yeah, he's
Look-
getting pretty
looking-
up there. I wouldn't exactly
Look in green room.
situation.
Goes missing in New Hampshire.
Joe Biden
my
goes
God.
missing in New Hampshire. Code silver. Code silver.
Does he
Honestly,
have evidence that implicates Hillary?
What he has
Honestly-
is fucking Alzheimer's.
yeah, I think he might have literally just wandered off confusedly.
Oh dear.
Like,
This
my
man is-
grandfather did it once and he got lost for almost 2 days.
Oof.
Until
Yeah,
he
that's-
walked into, like, the local bar as if nothing had happened, and they called us.
yeah, that can happen. But
So
yeah,
That or maybe, the mothership called him home.
nah,
That implies that he's a space comrade, and I take offense to that.
yeah,
So,
Yeah.
with the caucus itself, there's been a lot of footage and a lot of witness testimony, finger quotes, of electoral fraud. Can anyone give
First-
examples?
first of all, we should explain what
Right.
is a caucus.
Do you
And
want me
the-
to start?
The best explanation is that it's basically like a shitty discount Soviet.
Yeah.
discount.
When-
A discount Soviet. I like it.
Basically, everyone in the party meets and they pick who they support, and if the candidate doesn't qualify, they can change their count, and then they allocate votes based on that, and that's how it's all calculated based on like a calculation. And what has happened is
Like-
that there has been this like fucking, of course, because it's America and Silicon Valley tech bros have to like improve everything. They have been using this application to calculate the results, and the application apparently wasn't tested before, so it obviously
What?
yes,
Yeah.
so it broke.
Ah.
And
also,
then-
also, it was made by people who supported Pete if I
Wait,
remember correctly.
wait. Let me lay it on slowly. You are skipping too far ahead. So the application broke. So the next day, after pressure from the Bernie campaign, which have had its own application and started releasing their results, they started releasing the results, but they only released it at like 74%, which gave Agent Pete a lead. So he announced victory. So then
That
they
was the best thing, where he was just like, "I proclaim victory."
yeah, this is, and so then they started slowly releasing the next result, and as the difference between Sanders and Agent Pete decreased, the release speed has also decreased because this is Turkish elections now,
Yeah.
and
I mean, they're still claiming that Pete won, like, everywhere.
They've given
Yeah.
him an extra delegate. They've given him an extra delegate, by the way, on the principle that he quotation marks won.
yeah,
And this is what's really got me. Like, you check the votes after the final figures have been tallied, even from Sanders' numbers, from the DNC's numbers, and from independent sources, including councillors from the caucuses who are
Yeah,
releasing their own figures.
you probably shouldn't pronounce it Caucasus, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Sanders
that
Pretty sure that's just how you pronounce it, at least in
From
American
Well,
basic-
yeah,
speak, so
but
I don't
also
think it matters.
the
from
Caucasus.
basically everyone who wasn't involved with the Bob Chugger campaign, Sanders won
Yeah,
by like 6,000
because
votes.
what is okay? Here's what seems to have happened. Votes that were given for Bernie disappeared and were given to like trash, basically given to like trash people, like who no one voted. Like suddenly, places where councillors they confirmed no one voted for those candidates, like say Steyr. Suddenly Steyr had like 500 votes in those districts.
Yeah, because you can't even. That's the funny thing. They went to candidates that it was because of their own rules impossible to give votes to, because if they have under like 5%, the delegates or like the supporters are asked to reallocate their votes or leave, because you can there's like 5% quorum. So they went to like Steyer and other like 11 dipshits who couldn't even get votes if it was
Yeah.
done by their proper mathematics. So
and
then
here's the thing.
so then things started coming out. Apparently, the former chair of the Democratic Party in Iowa was really angry at like the Iowa current chair taking the blame, because apparently that application was forced on them by the DNC, which I don't know if it's true.
Jesus.
The leader of the investment to the film, company Shadow, not
Mhm.
kidding.
Shadow.
Yes.
Shadow Corp.
The Shadow Corporation was founded by invested into and founded by the Acronym Corporation. Wait a minute.
Oh god, it gets better.
It gets worse. It gets worse.
It gets better. The person that owns or manages the Acronym, which owns the Shadow, is a staunch supporter of Barack Obama. You can have pictures with her and him, and also Mayor Pete, and also she has been seen in like contact with various Iowa Democratic officials over the last few months.
Oh my
And
god.
funny thing is, this isn't like investigative journalism secretly like taking pictures from the bush. These pictures, all of them, were on fucking Twitter, and she even posted like, "I am so glad that Peter is running now," with like with like shit ton of emojis few months ago. None of this
Yeah,
is
okay.
the people.
And-
I feel like the conspiratorial elites are getting stupider and stupider.
There's one more thing, Königsmark, you're missing.
Yes.
The Democratic National Committee is attempting to get that they've scheduled a presidential debate in South Bend,
Yeah.
literally where Mayor Pete is mayor.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
The
Hmm.
exact town, the exact city
they are pushing him so hard. Also, another thing, all the dipshits that were like, "This is a conspiracy theory. These people, it is not possible to like rig it." The millisecond that it was announced that Sanders actually one day have demanded a recount.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that announced, by the way?
Tom Perez,
Officially,
Twitter.
officially not never, but basically people have did the numbers and then I released it independently by
Yeah.
like observers and the Sanders
That's the thing.
campaign.
To quote Sanders himself when he was asked why people should believe his declaration of victory over others, because I got 6,000 more votes.
What
Yeah,
were
he
you gonna
did.
say, Pac-Man?
He fucking did. I was just gonna say, and the best part about the acronym corporation and the shadow corporation thing, which I know they sound like something out of Resident Evil, like Umbrella Corporation
Acronym
subsidiary, right?
I'm gonna fucking
Dude.
scream.
Right? Okay. The greatest thing about all of this, one of the lead programmers and coordinators on the app, in fact, several of them, were staffers and technical advisors to Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Of course.
See, a lot of
It's like they're not trying to hide it. They don't even bother. They don't care. They're like, we can rig it and we will rig it and you can't stop us. Is
Of
exactly what
course.
they're saying.
it's so blatant.
Now, what I'm hoping
Yep, go ahead.
will
Go ahead.
come out of this is like people.
Bernie
I really
search.
hope people start waking up. Like, hey, this doesn't work. Maybe we oughta, try something else.
Because
Yeah.
Something a little more aggressive.
the thing, like, I'm not 100% sure what legality there is around this, but for some reason there
None.
aren't
None.
police officers coming in to
Because
arrest.
it's an internal thing. Here's the thing. Because this is not state run. Theoretically, right? Political parties, wouldn't have to vote at all. They could just have a fucking committee choose who their candidate is.
Yeah, they could
It's
just
entirely
have
optional. And they can do whatever the fuck they want. It's not even illegal to rig that kind of election. It's not even
the
like,
American
against convention.
law doesn't recognize the existence of political parties.
Now this is different as to for example, Austrian political parties are actually bound to certain rules and restrictions, and they are bound to internal democracy.
So,
Like a
so
lot
the-
of central,
sorry, go ahead.
like that, which is the case in a lot of Central European nations, like Germany. I don't know about the Czech Republic, but like in Switzerland as well.
Yes.
But because America likes to pretend it's partyless, even though, ha 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 ha.
The problem is that the American Constitution was created before parties.
Yeah. It's like, how do I put this? There's nothing stopping them. Backlash might dissuade them from continuing on because, well, no one liked this move. I'll be honest with you. No one liked this.
Bernie's ahead in all 50 states now.
Yeah, which that's I think the severe miscalculation there, because it's not the 1990s anymore. People aren't stupid.
We have the internet on a
Yeah.
mass scale. It's at my fucking fingertips now. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Like,
I
and I
mean,
think that in and
people-
of itself.
I don't think that people aren't stupid. I think that the people who try to rig it are more stupid.
That's a fair point.
Fair.
The people trying to rig it are the people who try to flip the coins and then be like, "Oh no, I fumbled! Oh, look at that, heads! Oh, Pete gets the delegates." There's footage of that happening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that was like seriously. They don't even try. They're so brazen about it. They think they can just get away with anything, and they're not really wrong about that. At least as things are now. But the problem is, when you flaunt it that much, people are going to start becoming a lot more aware, and that I guarantee you, this is pissing off everyone, and that's not something that's good for them.
It even pissed
good
off
for us,
Donald
great
Trump's
for us.
son.
I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna
Donald
put it like
Trump's
this.
large son is now Bernie, bro.
I'm gonna put it like this. If you burn down your house, you're gonna be homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon there's
So maybe,
yeah, I reckon
like, if you
Sorry, go ahead.
if you burn down your own support, if you have all of these people who have complacently been, going along under this pretense that the Democratic Party is the party of the people, which a lot of people genuinely believe. I won't go into how mind-bafflingly stupid that concept is, but if you take those people who are basically your main line of support at this point, right, and shit on their faces, eventually, some of them, not all of them, sadly, but some of them are going to wake up and realize, hold on, he's shitting on my face.
And they are going to vote for Donald Trump again. But that's another story. The problem, the thing is that the
Democratic Party, no matter who wins this, even if Bernie becomes president after this, the Democratic Party will fall apart.
I mean, it will either split. There will be a purge after this in the Democratic Party. Let's not fucking kid ourselves.
The Great Purge of America.
This was so fucked that even if like the agent Buttigieg and his like spook billionaire supporters win this, they will absolutely get rid of everyone who was involved with this. There is no chance that you will leave people as epic as the people that did this on your team.
Only bro 555 in the chat says American democracy is the longest lasting meme. It's extremely cringely and needs to die.
Yes.
Okay.
Agree.
Hold on. Right back.
The thing
the
with
word
like
democracy is doing some legwork there, but yeah.
The thing with like this like party of this thing of like party of the people and such, it's a two-way street where the people that the Democrat supporters need the Democratic Party to play along with the game. And the problem is that the Democratic Party appears to be unable to maintain their like part of the game. The mask is slipping.
Okay, listen. Who's gonna take the bullet, or who's gonna convince a Republican to commit the hate crime on Pete? Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna do it? Because it needs to happen. Email doesn't advocate violence, but come on, guys. Come on.
Fuck's sake. Email doesn't advocate violence.
God.
So speaking of like playing this game, how is this going to affect the Democratic Party as a whole going into the election itself? Have they shot themselves in the foot even more?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If Sanders somehow makes it through, I severely doubt he will. Then yeah, you're gonna have people voting just for Sanders. He's like the only thing about the Democratic Party anyone even likes at this point.
Outside of like boomers and
not even the boomers like the Democratic Party.
Yeah, even they're starting to get pissed off with this.
They just think that it's like marginally less shitty, which is not a good argument to get out of the bed to vote. Let's be fair.
Yeah. But anyways, like once again, even if Sanders makes it, the Democratic Party outside of him is fucked. And here's the thing, I don't think he's gonna make it. I think they're gonna try and force it so hard. Like, I don't think there's a chance of it.
They're gonna assassinate him.
That's another thing.
In a deep
if all of these methods fail, they're gonna fucking kill him.
Oh yeah.
One thing, if Bernie gets fucked in the primaries, then the Democratic Party is dead, because who else is who is the vote blue no matter who people? They are basically moderate Republicans, and they have no reason to stick with the party if it's no longer able to bind the left wing of the American politics to itself. At that point, it just becomes an awkward thing that they have no connection to. If Sanders wins the nomination and then loses to Trump, that's another thing. I don't think that will happen.
No,
but
I don't think that would happen. No.
If he thinks that if what did I want to say? If Sanders wins, no matter what happens, is that everyone in the Democratic Party leadership is getting fired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like-
there's
Like,
gonna be a
this is
purge.
this is
Yeah.
the only saving grace of this whole development is that no matter what happens, all combinations lead to the shit libs dying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because essentially,
they've dug
essentially,
their own grave.
yeah, essentially what happened is like they stepped up on the stage and were like, I'm gonna dip my balls into a deep fryer. Ah, that hurt. Why did that hurt? This is your fault, Social Democrats. Why would they do this?
They project their own like problems with not being able to get people to fucking vote for them. It's like, oh, you did this.
I have seen the Russians being blamed, the Chinese, the racist Bernie Bros, the non-white Bernie Bros.
The misogynist Bernie Bros.
It's not me.
the-
It's not me. I swear to God, it's not me. I'm perfect.
I have seen like the Nazi Bernie supporters,
Oh god, that.
which is also a category of like everyone has already been blamed for
Remember-
this.
Remember when in 2008 more Hillary supporters voted for McCain than Bernie supporters voted for Hillary in 2016. They voted for Trump.
Oh yeah,
Speaking of,
Because there was a thing called Party Unity My Ass is what Hillary supporters were called in 2008 Pumas.
the thing like party unity my ass, but yeah, party unity my ass, because there is no reason for Bernie supporters to have party unity there.
Mhm.
Like Bernie is independent, I think, so
Oh yeah, they're like.
he is literally losing the part. He is losing. It's because these dipshits that constantly pointed out thing that he is somehow like siphoning off the great successes of the Democratic Party for his like racist racist evil people or whatever. It's the other way around to dipshits.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
is the only thing that's like
He
That
is the
has-
compromise. He is the compromise candidate.
he is the compromise candidate between the boomer liberals who could like live in FDR style system
Yeah.
and the people that just want to lay waste.
And the people who don't want to fucking die. You know.
Yeah,
They're just gonna lay waste, as he said. Yeah.
This whole
like,
debacle with
what-
the. Sorry, go ahead.
what chance do even like moderate social democrats in the US have in electoralism if they get fucked by the Democrat
Again.
Party again?
Which
as-
is why it's going to die no matter what happens here.
Yeah,
This is what I was saying. I'm with Theo on this. I think that we win either way. Because the way I see it, we got two options. One, Bernie wins. If Bernie
Because-
wins, he pushes through social democratic reforms. We get Medicare for all, etc., etc. Less working class people die, which is great. Senate
Assuming
thinks
that all
I'm.
goes to plan.
that's
I'm
another
just
thing
saying-
that
They
I
won't
have.
give it to him. They won't give it to him.
I don't really understand why people keep thinking that just because you manage to get in as president means you'll be able to do like everything you set out to do.
It wouldn't be the first president the CIA shot to death. Just saying.
Yeah.
That too. But also, even assuming like everything else, if you can't get like the support of the House and the Senate, you can't push through everything you want.
Or anything.
You can still get a lot done if you really want to, fucking milk things, but Sanders is he's a bit soft on things like this. He's
Nah.
not harsh enough in a lot of ways, and I think he's not going to be quite as harsh as people think he will be on that. And also,
It is worth
never
noting.
mind the fact that even outside of just like the electoral sphere, if Sanders does get in, people are gonna lose their fucking shit. This is going to inflame and infuriate right wingers and embolden them to such a huge extent. Like, they're already to the point where they're not just gonna like quietly go with their tail between their legs because Trump didn't win again. No, they're going to be violent and disgusting about it. They are going to lose their shit.
The
And we will
Jews.
have to
They'll
prepare for
They'll
that.
just call him a Jew. They'll just call him a Jew. They'll finally drop the power. They'll probably drop the fucking mask off. He's a Jew. Done.
See, I
Another
agree.
thing
Although it is worth pointing out about what you said, is that Sanders has done this before. Before he became senator of Vermont, he did basically masquerade as a lot more moderate than he actually turned out to be.
I
with
just
his-
wanted
yeah.
to say that the Sanders victory might split the Republicans as well
Yeah.
and
This is
destroy them
this
as
is
well.
what I'm saying. People
You're
people
gonna
have
get
been shouting.
like a split between the milk toasts and the like full-on fascists.
Everyone's shouting me down as a reformer usually, and probably with no small amount of truth to it. But the way I view it
Okay,
is that
Trot.
we've got yeah, fuck off. Okay, you're talking. Okay, excuse me. You're talking to someone who will use nuclear weapons to achieve revolution. You're all fucking liberals to me. Anyway,
Real sectarian powers.
Okay.
Fuck.
okay,
Trot.
but in all seriousness, the way I view it is we win either way. One, we get the reformists, we win a few reforms, or they block the reforms. Either way, we get
look-
some form of validation. Or they fail and they shaft us, in which case everybody gets violently pissed off and we win more.
I disagree with your sort of. No, what is going to happen is that the fact that two things are inevitable, and that is, well, for one, the collapse of the Democratic Party is completely inevitable, and
Oh yeah, 100%.
secondly, I think the split in the Republican Party is becoming closer to being inevitable every day. But the thing about American politics historically, when a party collapses, that power vacuum is almost always immediately filled by something that reflects the popular demands of the day. Like the Republican Party was essentially, predicated on like the political situation in the 1860s, and was until like the 1900s, like the early 1900s, filled with all kinds of weird people, like from all ends of the political spectrum.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that no matter what happens, we're going to have a political power vacuum which somebody is going to exploit.
Yeah. So we need to be ready or be prepared to like
That's my
have
point.
or be prepared to like
The
next.
American political establishment is at the brink of collapse, and the DNC has decided to walk off the edge just now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
but
right.
that's the thing. If they
thing is that
if they
the
shoot Sanders, if they kill Sanders, if the CIA kills Sanders, they're in the awkward position now. If they kill him, they're going to create a martyr. They just are. No
It's
one's
not-
going to buy it. No one's going to buy it that it wasn't the CIA or the capitalists. No one will buy it.
This is what the Yanks don't understand. Both Democrats and Republicans don't understand that the Cold War is over, and people don't buy their shit anymore. At least not all of
We
them.
live in
Bernie
a
Sanders
postmodern
didn't kill
society.
himself.
Like-
Exactly.
It's not the Cold War anymore. People aren't like in the Cold War. You could sell people shit like that because they were afraid of the Russians and their nuclear arsenal. What can they be afraid of? Now, the Chinese. Seriously, who's genuinely afraid of the Chinese?
My
Besides,
dad,
I
but
am.
he's a fucking idiot, so who cares?
I am, but I live in the southeast.
Yeah,
Pacific,
aside
so
from-
to be fair, to be
Aside-
fair,
aside from paranoid
Aside from
boomers.
neighboring Asian countries,
But
the
like,
Dengists are going to come for us.
here's the thing.
they already own you.
Here's the
Yeah, I
point.
know.
The U.S. and China have intertwined political
Yeah, they are
the
two-legged
economic ties. They have
giants
strong economic
leaning
ties.
to each other.
The U.S. has no reason to antagonize them because they need the industry.
They literally cannot antagonize them,
Yeah.
even if
They
they wanted
can't.
to.
In
Don't
other
know.
words,
Donald
we are
Trump
not in
has
the
been
Cold War anymore.
trying. Donald Trump has been trying to fuck with the Chinese as like a way to own anyone, to like be epic, and they have just made him make fun of himself because
Yeah.
it just strengthens them.
and this is exactly what I'm saying, because of that situation, there is not going to be a fucking Cold War of interests because of these economic ties. We're not in the Cold War anymore, and the problems that the U.S. citizens are now most concerned about, all of a sudden, are their own problems. because now they become predicated and noticeable for the average person.
We are back in the 19th century, or the superpowers are the same.
We're in the interval period right now. That's my fucking call here. We're in the interval period.
Yeah,
And
somewhat.
basically, the US is facing the situation that the French were after the First World War. That it's just the Entente after the Germans were put into the ground, and suddenly debt. We're all in debt. How did that happen?
Debt time.
Oh,
Also, the economy's about to fucking explode.
Another thing yet to like the Democratic Party deciding to bury itself. They did that at the time that the election of Donald Trump basically buried the Republican Party, because one of the pillars of the Republican coalition have been the moralists and the right-wing immigrants. Donald Trump is like against these two people, these two groups of people.
I think maybe we've said all we can about the Iowa
we said
caucuses.
enough.
I could say a lot more, but we don't advocate violence.
EML does not advocate violence. Okay. So just
EML does not advocate nuking the DNC.
EML does not advocate finding Pete Buttigieg and beating him
Doing
with a
hate
piss-
crime.
EML does not advocate violence. EML does not advocate violence.
Although
but-
we do potentially advocate pissing against his bike or something. If you find it, go ahead.
So before moving on, I want to remind everyone to like and subscribe and to check out the description, because there is a donation link down there every time.
As well as a
You
Patreon link.
You get your comrade example. John has donated $72 to the cause. This money goes towards us being able to host on SoundCloud and supporting comrades like you, and supporting me in buying kebabs. Yeah. All those neat bucks from Centrelink. There's not a whole lot of them. So, Brexit. The official Brexit date was, I believe, January 31st. That date has come and gone. And the British pound dropped and has stayed very low. And we are 8 days into what I assume is the apocalypse, because I was hoping that Crypto could come on and talk about it, but he's not here.
Yeah,
so
he is super
He's dead.
fucking sick.
yeah.
He's dead.
I assume that every apocalyptic scenario is hitting the UK right now because they left the
It's
EU.
actually kind of quiet for now.
Yeah, I mean
the
there has been
implications have been mostly in the foreign policy. For example, the EU now backs Spain's claim to Gibraltar. Which may mean the sun may finally set on the British Empire.
Jesus Christ.
Also, there has been an attempt for by Splinter IRA group to do like a Brexit Day bombing, but the bomb sadly failed.
Yeah.
Wait, there was
Sadly, EML doesn't advocate violence.
There is
Yeah.
the. Well, we don't advocate for technical failures either, Dip-Dab. Well, you
Yeah.
see, the British military has been kind of in paralysis because they're kind of too afraid to do anything right now.
The British military has been in paralysis since the 60s. Let's
Yeah,
be
but
fair.
now they're. Yeah, but for the same reason that they were. Like, they are suddenly very keenly aware that there are military powers equal to them around them that can question and challenge their actions. You know, if they make a hard border against Ireland, the French might have something to say about it, and the Germans, and
The whole EU will be on their ass.
yeah, like, oh, also this is a big meme. I went to the bank earlier today, and you know how they have language options?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The flag on the English option is now the Irish flag.
Oh
And
my
apparently,
god.
this is a change in the entire fucking EU economic sphere. and Switzerland as well, which is epic.
Well, this is the big question a lot of people have had in the back of their minds is, will Brexit break the Good Friday Agreement? And
It
So
by
f-
definition does, because they need to enforce the EU border, but Ireland is still in the EU.
They will make the border in the ocean, which means a reunification of Ireland. Or they will make the border in the Ireland, which means the
I'm gonna
troubles
post
again,
a
which
picture
means
right now. Peter, you already
reunification
know
of
what
Ireland.
picture I'm gonna post.
Oh yeah, I know exactly which one.
Hold on.
All the scenarios lead to the reunification of Ireland, basically.
Yeah, we've got 4 years until that happens.
yes,
Reunification of 2024.
Yes.
the Irish unification of 2024. God, that's
Which
good.
Commander Data cites as an example of political violence being justified. Yes, boy.
God, please.
Commander Data,
right?
tear down this wall.
Who's coughing? Who's got coronavirus? Back
That's
there?
me. I am coughing.
Okay.
Oh, maybe Crypto has coronavirus. I mean,
No.
Crypto gets viruses from drinking too many Coronas, but maybe that's just a thing. I swear, I've only spoken to Crypto sober like maybe twice.
I don't know
Yeah,
why.
he does drink a lot. When he's not drinking, he's getting high.
I don't know why it's not coming up.
Wow.
But Brandon Renard, thank you for the money. He just donated about $2.
It hasn't been coming up for weeks.
Oh Jesus. Why?
It's
Why?
okay. We do love you, and we do shout you out if you donate to us.
Yay.
EML does advocate for financial gratification, even though we're socialists, because pizza is
gotta
good.
eat.
We live in a capitalist hellhole. We have no choice.
We live in a society.
Yay! Gang weed! Lobsters rise up.
Brandon Renard also says,
Okay,
as
Peter, if
crypto-
you're a lobster, does that mean I can throw you in a boiling pot of water and it's completely ethical?
No.
It's just a question. It's just a question. Don't be
She
afraid.
likes to eat crab. That's the.
This is true.
I mean, well, while I would prefer not to, dab, I'm up for accelerating the dialectic in any form. So, boiling water.
What you're telling me is you're gonna dip your ball in a deep fryer.
Oh my god.
Well, I worked at McDonald's for 4.5 years. It's bold of you to assume that they haven't already.
Fuck right.
So that's why you're single.
Fries.
Oh no, I'm single because I'm an ugly fat asshole. But
So
maybe that's the result of deep frying yourself.
Brandon Renard says,
no, that's just a result of liking
donation,
deep fried foods.
Seeing as crypto isn't here, I can say that all is fine here in the UK. Honestly, what's more concerning is the strong control of the Tories in the polls. We're more concerned about the Irish elections tomorrow, where Sinn Féin are polling, and then it cuts off for some reason. I can't read the rest of it.
Yeah, Sinn Féin and the Social Democrats in Ireland are polling well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, if Sinn Féin gets elected, it'd be fucking great.
I have no clue about Irish politics, so...
Sinn Féin is kind of shit libby, to be honest.
Which is really annoying, thing is Sinn Féin were basically the IRA at once.
Yeah, you have to differentiate between Republic Sinn Féin and Northern Ireland Sinn Féin, because Northern Ireland Sinn Féin are all fucking IRA members.
We need all the counties together, boys, and it's gonna happen.
Well, not only is this raise the question of the Good Friday Agreement, but it's also looking like reaching the Brexit date has kicked up renewed.
No, still here, I think. I don't know.
Let us know in the chat if the stream is still up. Okay, looks like we are. Okay. So I was trying to say, renewed calls for a second independence referendum in Scotland, primarily
yes.
because of Brexit.
Not only that, that's fantastic. What is fantastic is that according to sources from what I've heard on the news and seen around the place, apparently a Scottish Republican separatist movement planted a bomb.
Crypto,
Didn't
you
go off.
mad lad.
No, Crypto wasn't the one who did it, but I bet he's disappointed that he wasn't the first to do it. EML does not advocate violence. No, it won't. Look, this is the thing. Like, I don't want to get our hopes up because I don't think it's gonna get that bad yet. Keyword being yet. But if they keep going for a second independence referendum and they keep getting denied, we could see the Scottish Republican Army, which could be
a force. Because
Well-
it's literally also it's not just like the IRA, because the IRA they're from a place that's not contiguous to the main area.
Oh,
Yeah, they
gosh.
have the channel in there.
There's a
Yeah,
there's a
they
big
could
land
lock the channel.
bridge between Scotland and England.
Mm-hmm.
if I may quote a very perfect man. When I heard the term Scottish Republican Army, first they had my curiosity, but now you have my erection. I know what I said.
Fuck's sake. Scotland doesn't have nukes, Pac-Man.
Yeah.
No,
Yes, it does. It has the Aberdeen Naval Base, which is where the Polaris submarines are based. So yes, it does.
Oh my god.
Seize the means of Polaris, comrades. Seize the means of Polaris.
Okay, paradox.
Like Crypto's fucking D&D campaign, we need to seize Polaris.
So have
We've
the
already
Tories
seized Polaris.
have the Tories used this leaving the EU to push through any of their have they tried to sell the NHS yet?
Oh, they've been trying and they're succeeding finally.
Yeah.
Oh god. Can someone give us an update on that?
The NHS is fucked. End of update. It's in terminal. It's in a death spiral. Like lower funding leads to poorer results, which leads to poorer funding, which means to poorer results, which leads to yeah.
Shit.
It's not good.
So what's the
The NHS is being privatized.
what's the future of the UK gonna look like? What are our predictions for the next 6 months?
Mini
Look-
Yankland.
Look to that island that's part of the UK that doesn't have an HS already.
Oof.
You mean like Isle of Man?
I think it's Jersey. I know that basically there's 2 islands in the UK that don't have NHS. And it's like US, if not worse.
Yeah, the UK will basically become a US colony. Is my prediction.
Yeah.
Like even more.
Okay, so I guess there's not really that much to say about Brexit besides NHS is gonna get fucked. America's gonna take over their fucking economy, basically.
Yeah.
And the IRA are making a comeback. Dab.
But
All right.
Well,
We'll have to wait and see on Brexit.
the thing with America taking over anyone's economy is that, like, the world economy is not doing great.
so
Right now.
instead, how about the oil industry?
Yes.
Is on the brink of collapse.
Oh, yes.
A government agency has warned that global oil is on the brink of a meltdown from Vice. This is by Nafiz Ahmed, and we are not running out of oil, but it's become uneconomical to exploit it.
Oh.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, the oil
It's so
Thing.
deep now.
is like we are scraping. Like there is still oil, but the problem is
It's
like
deeper.
it's deeper, and we basically scrape. It's like with all the resources, you scrape the the surface, and that's like the money well, and then basically how it works that is that by using this you push out the other resources, and that's how you get people addicted, and that's how you get money invested into pumping more out, and that's how you create
I'm
like
gonna
a
shove
stable.
crude ass up my urethra, boys.
What the fuck, baby?
What the?
Crude oil. I'm gonna pee it back out. That's my economic plan for the United Kingdom 2021.
So,
Okay.
is
Why
this
are you
connected
like this?
to that oil company that is constantly burning off oil because it can't sell it?
Oh, BP?
Yeah.
Well, this is published by the Geological Survey of Finland, which operates under the government's Ministry of Economic Affairs. The report was part of an internal research exercise for Finnish government officials, which until 2019 held the presidency of like the Council of European Union. So it's signed by Dr. Saku Vuori. Finnish is hard for me to learn. It's fucking weird the way they fucking pronounce shit. Basically, oil is fucking everywhere, but it's too costly to drill it. Look at fracking, for example.
Fracking is another thing because the thing with oil in general is that it's unprofitable. The thing with fracking is that it never was.
It never
Fracking-
was.
Fracking was never profitable, and now we are going from barely like justifying the money being put into it. We are leaving the barely justifiable, and we are now leaching the money hole. It's just the money pit. You throw money into a nothing. That's
Yeah.
Brandon says, "Is oil stored in the balls?"
Yes.
An
Yes.
excellent
Why?
question.
That's why I'm going to shove it up my urethra.
All of this is also compounded with the fact that the economy, the world economy, is about to hit the fucking like break.
Oh god.
Oh, yeah.
We're not ready.
Here's the
Okay.
thing. I was actually like telling my mom this. I'm like, I guarantee you, in like most likely the next 5 years, maybe the next 10 years, if people really manage to try and save their asses on this one, but we are going to have a huge fucking collapse.
It's gonna be
And
this.
she's like, "Oh no, that will never happen." And I'm like,
It's gonna be glorious.
we're
It's
gonna
gonna be
have another fucking.
this-
Why am I
this year-
suddenly blanking out on the name?
Don't-
1929
Great
Black
Depression.
Friday.
Yes, we're going to have
Don't-
that again.
So don't let them save capitalism this time, please.
Just let it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't let an FDR in.
We should have
Considering
Which is
murdered
Bernie.
FDR.
Bernie is FDR.
considering how much
The,
money
the,
they're
the
pumping
CIA
into the
is
banks,
going. The
how-
CIA is going to murder Bernie, and that's how we will destroy capitalism.
So Bernie can still win. He fucking dies.
Okay, so earlier this week, it's reported that China is to inject $174 billion of liquidity into the Chinese People's Bank.
Oh god.
Oh, I thought up my. Never mind.
Oh.
174 billion US dollars.
Which basically screams, "Oh my God, we're all going to die," and I know it.
Because
The thing is,
So
these actions usually work, but they are done usually when you are in the crisis, because what they are doing now is not solving the issue. They are just inflating the bubble.
by the way,
That will
that's
eventually burst.
1.2 trillion yuan.
That's a lot of money.
1.2 trillion renminbi, which is the Chinese.
That's I think that is more than the GDP of most Central European countries.
Yeah.
Yes.
Combined.
Yeah, I think that's the GDP of the entire former Austrian Empire combined. Now that I think about it,
how
Yes.
Okay.
bad is this collapse gonna be? Is it just
Bad, very
And they
bad.
are currently working their asses on making it worse.
because
Okay,
they don't
okay.
understand economics.
So
The Dengue strike
massive-
again. Even in
massive-
capitalism, the Dengue strike again.
massive, huge.
fucking tank?
Okay. Largest ever. Fed will flood market with gargantuan $500 billion in liquidity to avoid year-end repo crisis.
Oh my god.
You're not
Holy
avoiding it. You're just pushing it back and making it larger.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, in a week. Well, okay. So from the 13th of December to the 30th of December of last year, they put at least $120 billion. From that Monday alone, at least $75 billion. From the 31st of December to the 2nd of January of this year, $150 billion. From the
Jesus.
3rd to the 14th, $120 billion. This is going to hit.
They're
Oh,
just making
yeah.
it. They are just making it awful by all of this because they are just
They're
they
they're
are
just making it worse.
inflating the bubble by enormous speeds.
Yeah. It's going to fucking explode.
Even if you like, the thing is, even if you are like I don't understand what economic theory or what thing that they are thinking about when they are doing this, because based on no like
There-
economics, this makes sense.
Keynes-
There is like
this
literally
is-
no fucking idea.
Okay. Okay.
That's the
Turn-
problem
turn
with
it- turn it-
capitalists. They're so
turn it-
stupid. They don't even understand their own
This
system.
isn't even Keynesian.
No. This is Keynes if he took meth.
Yes.
This is... So what you are saying is that this is Keynes accelerationism.
This is Julie Keynes.
I'm about it. I'm
So
about
what you're
it.
telling me is this is the post-Keynesianism that they were all talking about.
Pretty much, yes.
And by posts, we mean
Keynes ACC.
CAC. Hold on.
Fuck.
CAC is an accurate way of thinking about it, I reckon.
In chat. CAC.
Fuck's sake. So, so we've reached peak oil. We've reached peak
Peak oil.
banking.
We reached peak capitalism.
Is this the big one that's gonna kill
Is this-
capitalism, or is this just
is this the
another
end?
one?
We gotta make it that way. We gotta make it that one.
Ah, okay. So then, what should we do? What we blah. We as leftists, what can we do apart from prepare for the apocalypse?
take
Oh.
meth. I mean, what?
I mean,
That's-
Help others and make communists look good.
yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best thing we can do for ourselves at this point in time is PR.
Yep.
Which at this
PR
point is
PR
becoming
and-
less and less hard, considering,
Yep.
well,
We are surrounded
the
by
alternative-
idiots.
yeah, the alternative is Keynes on meth.
Like, this is like Keynes if he smoked some meth and then drank 3 bottles of vodka and he's like just pushing
So-
buttons as he's going into fucking alcoholic shock.
So, Mussolini Keynes.
Mm-hmm. You mean
Oh,
That's
Hayek?
about
dude.
right.
You mean basically Hayek. Almost Hayek.
Keynesian Mussolini sounds fantastic.
Sounds fucking horrible.
Like this is like it. So Hayek is like the inverse of Keynes, where he's like, "Oh, don't do anything," and then he's like, "All power to the state." In Austria, at least, he's all power to the state, and then afterwards, he's like, "No, guys, we have to be trad but libertarian about it."
Which is no, that's a fun fact about Hayek. He built the Austro-fascist economy
Mm-hmm.
on a idea of
So did
corporate
Hoppe, by the way.
of corporate divisions that didn't exist anymore since the fucking early 1600s.
Yeah, so did Hoppe, though.
Quick,
Yeah.
quick question. Quick side question. Whatever happened to
Mhm.
ANCAPs?
Yeah, good question. Where did they go?
They got
Like,
busy fucking children.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
The FBI finally caught up with them.
Fuck. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Fair enough.
or you
alright.
could be like a. You could be like you're like again with the Spartacists, critical support for Nambla.
That's
doing.
basically what happened. Is that
The Spartacists allied with the ANCAP, so now we have
well,
this.
meme, it's like how the meme on 8chan for years was that all of these image boards are just like FBI spooks and CIA spooks yelling at each other.
Facts.
And that's basically what happened to the ANCAPs. It's like people realized, wait a minute, is there anyone here that isn't already given up on concealing the fact that they're just
Nazi
just
pedophiles.
fascists? Yeah, that they're just fascists. No? Okay. Fuck
No,
this. Mask off.
Yeah, the Hoppians just literally support Pinochet because they're like the Austro-fascists.
Yeah.
I'm
Pinochet is
imagining-
the closest thing to Austrofascism in
Outside
a
of Austria.
long-term projected, like, what happened to Pinochet's Chile would have happened to Austria. It's just that the
Pinochet-
Austrian economy was just inflated because Mussolini wanted a stable buffer state between himself and Germany.
Augusto Dollfuss.
Yeah, like, you're not even wrong.
Augusto Dollfuss.
Except that Dollfuss was too much of a coward
Manlet.
to that. Like, he was afraid of fire. Just fire.
Ooh. So sorry to change the subject yet again, but we've got some breaking news in the chat. Brandon Renard says that President Trump has... it's because it's always about Trump. Trump has fired Gordon Sondland, former U.S. ambassador to the European Union. Gordon Sondland had testified in the impeachment trial.
Don't care about
The purge
impeachment.
begins.
I wonder why that
The
happened.
purge begins.
Donald
The
Trump.
purge never ended.
The thing with Trump is that he has been firing and hiring retards for his cabinet since the
Like-
beginning.
Like, I want
Donnie,
to
why
stress
must
the
I die?
I want to stress the fact that none, literally zero of the people Trump appointed when his term started are still in fucking, like, the office, save for the vice president.
Because he
Yeah,
can
and
remove
what's
them.
even better is a solid chunk of them are in prison for federal crimes.
Yeah.
All right. Listen. Mike Pence is just his barrier. The second he's out, he's gonna die too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, Pence is literally just fucking Trump's
Why?
insurance. It's like, this guy is even less sympathetic than I am.
Pence
And
is just
yeah.
Biden to Trump's Obama.
Yeah, literally. Like, you don't want this guy in charge, is basically the message here.
Jesus Christ.
Which is probably the only, like, legitimately smart move that man has ever made. And I can bet you that it was not his idea.
Yeah, there is no way Trump thought to do that himself. He is not nearly smart enough.
Like, it's
Oh,
a
but-
meme, ooh, Trump's stupid, but he's genuinely just an idiot.
How many letters? How many like written letters are in Trump's desk that are comparable to Bukharin's "Kobo, why must I die"? Like how many?
You know,
You should probably explain what that is, Dev.
When Bukharin was arrested and sentenced to death because of the purges, he sent a letter to his old-time best friend, Joseph Stalin, and said, "Koba, why must I die?" And Koba was Stalin's nickname.
This is so sad. Can we get an F in
He
chat?
still got shot. He still got shot, and he never sent back a letter. He was always in his desk, though. Stalin also called there were a lot of letters in Stalin's things that were funny to me. Like that time that the gay member of the British Communist Party sent him a letter, like is a homosexual allowed in the party? And Stalin didn't reply. He just wrote degenerate and almost burned it.
Jesus.
Which is essentially the political equivalent of basically having a fucking live Twitter meltdown, to be honest.
Yeah.
yeah, but you know, all I got from that story is like I've just got this constant flashbacks to my time on tanky Twitter. You know, You know.
The good old
Oh,
days.
God.
and all the constant, you know, Daddy Stalin was a person of color, and I'm like, oh no, no guys, don't do it.
That shit.
It's okay. Woke
assi-
tankies, I swear to God, are the
The
one
assigned-
thing in this.
The assigned
wow.
blackness of Slobodan Milosevic. You remember that one?
No, don't say that. If you hear that from you one more time, I will divorce you. I love you, but no.
Slobodan Milosevic was a black
How
man,
does-
honey. I can't deny it. Can't deny
No,
it any
shut
longer.
up, shut
no,
up, shut up.
Slobodan Milosevic was a black trans woman.
Oh
my
my god, I will kill you, Dip Dap.
All right, we've gone completely off the
I
rails.
hear no
Perhaps
sound.
perhaps we should move on to our last
Yes,
topic.
please.
Okay.
Irradiated America.
Yeah. So just before we move on, I want to remind everyone of what's in the description. And there is a link to a store, and that store is called, and I always get the name wrong, Aesthetic and Com Merch. Now, this is a store that... Did I get it right? Did I get it right?
Yes.
Yay! It's a
It's a
store
Teasilly
that's run by crypto, and there's a bunch of shirts there, high quality. I've bought one. My friend Smiley has bought several, and what you can find there
I've bought a shitload of them.
Yes.
I love that man. His stuff is very good, and you should buy stuff because he's not doing so great right now in a lot of respects, and it would really be appreciated.
Yes.
How about when is he gonna make the woke Calvin Coolidge shirt?
You'll have to ask him about that. I don't really know.
When you buy shirts from Aesthetic Income Merch, you directly support the workers, crypto, and when you buy the EML t-shirt that says EML does not advocate violence, you directly support EML by advertising. So consider it mutual aid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, on to...
I just want to throw this out here,
Yep.
just on a personal note. Can we get some Fs in the chat for a friend of the channel, Scotty, who has unfortunately been called in for imperialist warmongering this weekend?
Oh,
Damn.
God.
He's been called up? Like what?
He's because he's in active reserve. Technically, he's his unit has called him back to do duty this weekend, so he's stuck on an army base this weekend. So can we get some Fs in the chat?
Poor Scotty.
Yeah, he's manning a desk. Poor bastard.
The only capitalist that will be spared the wall in the revolution.
That's the thing. Like half these people, it's like all he wants to do. Like literally half the people of his type, they want their house, they want their guns, and they want people to leave them the fuck alone. And to be honest, that's not.
Well, hey, he wants his house, he wants his gun, he wants his Iowa class battleship. Okay.
No, that's his house. That's his house.
That's his house. That's his actual house. It's an Iowa class battleship. Like, to be fair,
he's gonna name it "shall not be infringed" right on the side.
I mean, would you try to infringe a battleship? Let's be real.
Yeah.
But yeah, F's in the chat for our friend who's stuck being an imperialist warmonger for the weekend.
So,
but
yep.
Final topic.
Yes. So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on some possible praxis, and if someone can give us the full picture on what's happening. So in New York City, they have tried to crack down on fare evasion, and the protests that's been happening is mass fare evasion. People have been bike locking gates open. They've also been dumping superglue into card readers. And I believe there's also online resources as to how to circumvent the gate system so you can get in and ride for free. So I was wondering, is this good praxis? And perhaps, could someone give us a fuller picture on why this is happening?
I mean, I can't give you a fuller picture, but I can say, is this good praxis? Categorically, yes.
Fucking hell.
Fuck the NYPD.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
absolutely good.
There's a lot of like fuck the police going on, but like, was it
this
started
doesn't even started because of fare evasion. This just started because of the police being police.
Yeah.
Basically,
literally.
And they
Literally,
tried
it's
to,
just the NYPD being the NYPD.
yeah, the NYPD tried to do police shit in the metro, justifying it by, okay, we are cracking down on fair evasion, and everyone was like, okay,
No.
if you're gonna be racist, we might as well.
No, all you're doing up is beating up black kids as per normal.
Yeah.
It just happens to
Kids
be
who
the
can't
subway.
afford to take public transport because of the shit that your fucking millionaire Mayor Bloomberg keeps putting on people.
Mhm.
Black kids and like food
Alright,
sellers.
You good, Theo? You good?
I might have to go real quick. I might be back. I don't know yet.
That's cool.
Okay.
I have to attend a mini staff meeting impromptu.
That's all right.
Oh,
If
fun.
you don't make it back, thanks for coming on. It's good to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
See
Well,
you, baby butt.
Although I'm gonna ask if there actually is much to discuss.
You'll go to the
Because of-
meeting, you'll sit there, and then you'll think, man, this could have been an email.
Story of my fucking life. That is actually my life.
funny thing, this thing, the Chile protests started also because of like
A fair thing.
fair increase.
Well, that's an aspect actually to a lot of what's happening around the world, where news media will try to downplay or make fun of protesters and say, "Oh, look at this! They're rioting and destroying property because of like a 10-cent increase on fares. Haha, those stupid leftists." But it seems like
Well,
there's
what's all the other stuff that led to it?
exactly. So,
It's also becoming less and less effective, I would like to add.
Oh yeah, people are just kind of hitting a point where like, I really don't care that they smashed in a Starbucks window. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's getting to the point where everyone's opinion is like, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Just shut the fuck up.
if you pick your targets well, it will be greatly appreciated. Like nobody likes certain things like banks and shit.
Don't care.
That's the thing. Like if you like, that's the thing with these Antifa protests. Like, I mean, I know it's like a weird sort of point of contention, but you need to make sure that when you're doing these sorts of things, it's like, not that we advocate such things, is when you're doing these sorts of things, you target corporation buildings, not small businesses and shit. You hit the corporation buildings. You smash up the McDonald's, theoretically. You smash up the Starbucks, theoretically. You smash up the Bank of America, theoretically. All of these buildings are insured and the employees are paid like shit, so do whatever. Fucking burn them down, right? Like, and so, like, yeah, and so, like,
For
you
example,
don't fuck over a small business or a lot, like, because you don't fuck over small businesses and shit like that, because that's people's livelihoods. Like, if you want to get people inside, you take it to the corporations, you take it to government buildings. The ML does not advocate violence. So you don't.
So do you think we on the left tend to are we hitting the wrong targets? Like,
depends.
I haven't seen much of like people actually hitting up.
I don't see a lot of that either, honestly. Like, like I said, there's some for sure.
It's concern trolling for the most part.
Yeah. It's not really a thing that happens very much. Like, there's always one or two idiots, but like, welcome to anything.
Or it's the whole like, the cops literally have fucking people go and infiltrate them and do shit that's bad.
Oh yeah.
Do you think we're gonna see something like that with the fare evasion?
Possibly. But I don't
But
think.
The thing is, like, people in New York are pretty good at spotting spooks.
Yeah.
Like, because nobody fucking nobody fucking likes the NYPD. Nobody likes them.
Because it seems like so far these protests and demonstrations have been like they'll march en masse through the gates and not pay, but while they're doing it say fuck the police, obviously. But it seems like they're target, of course, is the property of, trying to extract money from passengers. So do you think it will be easy to spot when there are infiltrators, when people start trying to beat up cops that are on the subway, as an example of one of many?
As I said,
No,
no
I-
one likes
I
the
think-
NYPD.
As I said, the genuine revolutionaries, if they get enough critical mass, would probably beat up the cops anyway. Email does not advocate violence.
Yeah.
You see, there's a reason why Bloomberg militarized the fuck out of New York police. There's a reason for that. He is genuinely fucking worried. Like, New York is genuinely fucking worried about, like, okay, so I don't want to put too much stock in it again. But the one thing I will say is that after looking at all the news outlets and independent outlets regarding the Bernie Sanders campaign recently, is that what we are hoping for is starting to happen to an extent. I have noticed, like, I lurk on lots of liberal pages on Facebook just for the memes. I lurk on the pages and have a look around. And, there was talks about the DNC and all of its fuckery. And so one of the posts was, okay, so it's violence then. And people were agreeing with the post.
Oh boy.
And I was like, oh boy.
Here we go.
Here
I
we
mean, if you
go,
reach
And
that
here we
critical
go.
mass, once you reach that mass, there's no going back. I just want to reiterate that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm sort of looking at. I'm just like the Bernie Bros, for all the arguments of reformism, as I sort of posited to myself in the shower this morning, I was thinking on it, and I was just like, this is when Rosa Luxemburg's reform or revolution stops being a debate about whether reform or revolution is the idea. Reform or revolution becomes the threat. You will reform or we will revolt. You've got a choice. And maybe it's starting to look like maybe the Bernie Bros are starting to sink into them that this is
Not a viable path.
it's not a viable path. Like, as I said, like,
It have been tried like 6 times. It never
I mean,
worked.
the thing is about Bernie getting elected and all that. You're right. The Senate's going to block him. It's going to be shit. Nothing's going to get done. You're right.
But
But
people are going to
let's-
take note of that.
the people
Oh,
are going to take
yeah.
note of that. And not only that, if they're dumb enough to fucking kill Bernie, which they probably will. Let's be real here. They're gonna create a martyr.
Yeah.
No, because
And
what
you've
they'll do
got-
is they'll poison him. So he looks like he has a fucking heart attack. He's old.
So
Yeah.
so we've got people that are already angry
Yep.
enough to bike
Here's
lock.
the thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think what could happen is like they'll try and assassinate him in a way that makes it look like he might have died naturally and all that. But I think even if he did die naturally, I think people would be like, "Yeah, fucking right."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Bernie gets
Like
hit,
People
at
Bernie
this
gets
point,
hit
if
by a
Bernie dies
train.
of anything,
Yeah.
people will be like, you fucking killed him. We know you did."
An
Yeah.
asteroid, an asteroid
like if-
falls from space. Like the CIA can redirect asteroids.
I mean, they
Bernie-
pretty
can
much.
actually, but that's besides the point here.
Okay. If Bernie were to film himself and shoot himself, they would say it was an inside job.
I
He
mean,
was
definitely.
coerced. Shit. And we've
Yeah, at this point, no matter what would happen on that front, they would not fucking win.
Yeah.
There's no way for the fucking CIA to pull JFK here.
Yeah. 2020. The mood for
That doesn't mean they
2020
won't do it anyway.
is-
They'll try.
The mood for 2020 is like we could see through your bullshit. We can smell what you're shoveling. Plus, we're all angry enough to fucking,
Not care.
we're gonna go from property damage to, beating up people. Email does not advocate violence. I'm being very careful with my words here. it's
Another thing is that like with reform before there was always some like option to reform into something else to like expand or whatever. What's there like on the this like reform or revolution threat? The thing is I don't think they have any like reform left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck is in there? Like, we gonna go to space? That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's like the literal plan, which is like,
Bullshit.
which is basically dangling keys in front of you.
Mm. And
Like,
But what about, guys, the third positionists? What about?
and
What
the,
about shut the fuck up?
and the, and,
No.
in
Look,
the, in the
critical
words of a,
support for Yang
No.
might not be a bad idea. Okay,
look,
think about it.
we all got to start getting ready because, in the words of a great man, the fire rises.
The
Yeah.
violence is escalating, and I couldn't be happier.
Nobody
Email does not
cared
have to
who
give
I
up.
was until I put on the mask.
Nobody cared who I was until I read Siege.
Oh, God.
Shit,
What
yeah,
this was
Nobody
a-
cared who I
does not
was.
advocate Siege.
That's the
EML
other thing.
advocates watching Attack on Titan.
That's the
Watch
other
Attack
thing.
on Titan.
Like, as radical as we are getting on the left, and as prepared we are as we are getting on the left.
Nobody cared who I was until I violated 42 traffic laws and killed a child.
Shit.
EML advocates laying waste onto people who advocate Siege legally, of course.
Yeah,
No
it's,
debate.
Alright.
Okay, transgender Bane now has to be a thing. Just saying.
Yes.
Train?
Oh, God.
cared who I was until I became a woman. And now that I am.
You know, you're not that far from the truth, I'll be honest. Like,
Just when he presses
So-
the
what is this?
when he presses that
What is
button
this stream right
and the chemicals get pumped into his body, it's actually just HRT en masse.
so
I
what
was
you're
trying to
telling-
forget.
So what you're telling me is that Alex Jones is on his period?
Oh my god.
Oh, God.
Alex Jones is trans, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a new
Like the
development.
thing is, if you pump like a shit ton of like anti-androgens into you, you will like regain the hormonal cycle, which will actually cause the professional term is temporary irrationality.
Alright.
So
Yeah,
you-
you basically have a period, but without the bleeding.
we
EML now announces its new drug, Gay Force Plus.
That's
Gay
a quote.
force.
EML now
Oh,
announced this
God.
new drug.
Oh,
That's a
God.
quote.
Alright, I think we've gone completely off the rails. Perhaps
Oh,
that
but
is
it's
a
been
good
a
time.
fantastic trip.
Good time to wrap
been a
up
great
the
train
stream.
crash.
But if you want to continue with the shit posting, I've just put a Discord link into the chat. Come join us on our Discord server, where we will be jumping into voice main and continuing on with the shit posting. So before we go, any last plugs? Who should we subscribe to?
Subscribe to me if you haven't
I swear
already.
this
but-
video will be done soon.
Yeah,
Oh,
I swear
yes.
my video will be done soon too, but it's not done yet.
So Dip Dap, your big takedown on fascism that you've read like 50
Yeah.
books for? Is that
Around 45 books.
Jesus? Is that going up on Eastern Marshlands?
Yes.
Oh, good lord.
Sweet. Just make sure you subscribe
I
to see that.
I genuinely respect the shit out of you for that, by the way.
Yeah. These things happen.
He's
Listen,
done
these
it
things happen.
so that we don't have to.
Dip Dap, do you have health insurance?
I live with my parents, so yes.
Does that cover psych?
Yes.
Does that cover
Partially.
Siege by James Mason?
It does
Can-
not cover
can you-
Siege. I read Siege though.
ADX wants to shout out Dip Dap. Who's it?
It's great. It's Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone in this chat who's read Siege, say I.
I
I
Cringe.
Nay.
look. It's funny.
You don't
I've,
want to
also,
read Siege.
I've also read Mein Kampf, which is
Yes,
honestly funnier.
Oh,
That's
look,
what
Mein Kampf is, as I said, both Siege and Mein Kampf are literally that emo edgelord at the back of your class in grade 9 who's writing angsty poetry in his fucking textbook.
Alright,
He's literally that kid.
I'm going to wrap this up. I want to give a special thanks to Pac-Man, DipDap, Konigsmark, Senna, and Theo for joining us. I want to give a special thanks to Brandon Renard for donating to us. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to join us on the Discord and to join us next week. Good night, everybody.